Hi, this is Ron Nutter with another edition of TechBytes with Ron Nutter product reviews. Today we're looking at the Deity PR-2, and this is a 6-month follow-up since I first started using it, and my workflow has evolved over time. So this is, I'm going to tell you about something today you've probably not heard about or thought about, so I really hope it helps everybody. And 3 things you need to know about this device. If you get value from this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. I would really appreciate it. Well, let's get down to business. Thing number 1, since the release of the PR-2, there's been a new style of battery come out. And that is, well, the folks at EBL were the first ones to get one to me. I was sent some for review, but that was for a whole other video. And since then, I've been using them and I've been very pleased with them. So these are rechargeable lithiums. Now, the Deity folks will send you lithiums, but they're not rechargeable. With the lithium rechargeables, if you're a heavy user, and I have to change the batteries out in my PR-2 a fair amount. I'm doing several videos a day. Well, batteries, as we know, only last so long. At this point, with the latest available firmware, there is not an alternate setting for lithium rechargeable. So at this point, continue to use the lithium setting until, if in Deity's opinion, they need to change something in the firmware. But I suspect that the lithium properties are probably going to be close enough it may not be worth doing a firmware update. Thing number 2, keep your firmware up to date. I was initially having a clock function issue, and when I went to the latest firmware, that seemed to help somewhat. Well, that's, one step at a time. Here in just a second, as we're going into thing number 3, you're going to see the audio shift, and that's, the explanation will be there. I don't have multiple PR-2s. So for me, my workflow is made a lot easier because I didn't want to necessarily set up for the timecode stuff. But thanks to Deity's support, we found a way to do what I wanted to, and that's having the clock function in the PR-2 timestamp the files so that when you finish recording a particular segment, it's going to go with the current date and time it knows about. Now, it will drift a little bit. Now, this is over a prolonged period over several hours. You're going to start seeing a little bit of a drift, and you may not. It just depends on everything that went into your particular PR-2. But this at least gives you a shot while having to go through the setup of timecode. Now, you'll use some of the timecode function, like I've said. So let's switch over to the recording on my smartphone, and I think you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, bear with me as the audio may be changing a little bit. I've had to do a different audio setup to record this part because the piece I need to use for my normal audio recording is the very piece that we're showing how to set up the time sync. You may have seen where there's timecode functionality within the Deity PR-2. Well, I don't want to have to go through the process of plugging something into my camera, which negates the camera's ability to record. Not that I use it that much, but I always like to have that open. And I'm more concerned about timestamping the files being recorded in the PR-2 because I can use that to marry things up because that's just the way it's worked for my particular workflow. So what you're looking at now is the screen of my PR-2, and it's got of the PR-2 that's linked into the Sidious app. So we will go into here. Now you'll notice a couple of things, and you can validate this by some of the pictures that hopefully have shown up at this point. You'll notice the 2025-0101, that's a default clock that's got set up in my particular PR-2. And you notice the time is like way off. So that's why. There is timecode functionality. So we're going to go through and I'm going to show you how to timestamp your files. Now, you'll have to do this each time because generally this does not save when you turn off your PR-2. And I'm going to reiterate 2 things. Number 1, make sure you're on the latest firmware because at the time of this recording, I am on the latest firmware for the PR-2, which did fix an issue, and make sure you're on a fresh set of batteries. So we'll go up here and hit up on the triple dot in the upper right hand corner, and you'll notice here date and time. Okay, same thing we saw on the other screen. So we can tap on there, and I'm going to sync the date and time of my phone, and see now that's changed. And you probably will notice a change in your PR2. You'll see the record light kick in for just a fraction of a second while it's syncing. But we're not done yet. Okay, see, I'm on the 2.0 firmware. Okay, so let's go back up a page here. You notice it's still, things are still kind of out of whack. So we'll go down here to setting, and everything looks fine there. Okay, let's shift over to the TC button, and you'll notice it's off. I've had this on at one point today earlier, so the clock's off. It is a software-based clock, so it's not going to be totally up to snuff because it could sync out a little bit. All right, so now 12:08. Now we'll go back to the general settings button just to double check. Now see, this one's in sync, so we're good there. I just wanted to double check it because when we come out to this screen, this clock does not match our one on the smartphone. So we'll go to the settings button, not the general settings that are up here, but the settings button. We'll tap on settings and we'll click on the clock logo on beside time code, and voila, now it's in sync and the date should be fine as well. So we'll back up here. See, now this matches here. That says you got everything in place. Now we can go through it and we can sync against the PR2. So notice everything's still in sync here, and that's still in sync. I'm checking multiple ways, and so again, we've got multiple screens here, and we go to the TC part of the tab. Okay, again, it's all staying in sync, so that says that everything is set up. So now, if you go to check your PR2, and there should be some pictures coming up here in just a second, you will see that the PR2 does actually reflect it. If it doesn't reflect it, Houston, something didn't take, and sometimes I've had to go through this a couple of times. Either I missed something or something didn't take during the sync process. That's how you get your PR2 to stamp the files with date and time, because a lot of times I'm doing several different videos, and this I can look at the file date and time, and that will help me match it up to the video segment that I'm going against. Well, I trust that was an illuminating experience for you, because it certainly has helped my workflow while keeping it fairly straightforward. So take a look. If you haven't already gotten a PR2, take a look at it. Think about getting one today. I think you'll be very pleased with it. If you've already got one, congrats on a good purchase. Make sure you're on the latest firmware, and then everything else should fall into place. If you get value from this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. I would really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.